Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Amazing Frequency. It is delightful this afternoon to have the most wonderful chat with Alison Bartolo, who is my Earth Mother. She is an Earth Mother, and we're having the most amazing chat before we come online here today, all talking about essential oils and what's not to love about essential oils. It's something that I think many people use in their daily life, but I think we don't use them as much as we could do. And so I've asked Alison to start to give us a general overview about essential oils and some top tips and some just nice stuff about the oils. So welcome, Alison.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I know we're just going to do a short little talk today. I feel like I want to verbal diarrhea so much over you, but we'll do some basics today. That will be really lovely. Thanks so much for having me.
Cool. Thank you. So where should we start? Where should we start with oils? Where's the starting place that we could?
Well, my starting place, I'm happy to share how I got sort of involved with them, because I used essential oils when I was pregnant first time. I didn't really know anything about them, didn't know about quality or which ones were good, and I think I was putting a few drops of tea tree in my maternity pad after giving birth and that sort of thing, and had no other idea what I was doing or anything. But it was about probably 11-12 years ago now. My sister-in-law introduced me to doTERRA essential oils, which are incredible. She's a massage therapist, and she actually channels, and when she's giving someone a massage, and she just said the oils had created this clarity and purity. She'd never worked it with anything. It was just a pure plant chemistry, and she just never experienced anything like that. And she knew I was into sort of natural things. I'd had a home birth, and I thought I was very natural at the time. You always think you're healthy and you think you're natural until you learn the next thing, and then you realize that you're just continuing on a journey. But she said, "Oh, you'll love these." And so I got myself a starter kit of the top 10 oils, most versatile oils. And I promptly put them in the cupboard because I didn't know what to do with them. So 2.5 years they sat in the cupboard and I didn't use them, which is really quite sad. But at that point, my middle child, she was just a toddler, and she got a mosquito bite on the back of her arm. We were living in Australia at the time, and I could tell there was something just not right about it. It was angry, and it had all these little dots around it, and it just looked really different. And so I Dr. Googled it like you do, and it was impetigo. I could tell, which is school sores, very highly contagious. The only treatment that it said was possible was antibiotics. So none of my children had ever had antibiotics, and still haven't 10 years later, which I love. And so I was like, well, I'd like to avoid that. What can I do? So I went to the pharmacy. They gave me this ointment, which is completely the wrong ointment, but they were in a white coat. So I thought, well, they know more than me, and I just trusted them. And they said that what they did say that was correct was to keep it contained. It will spread really easily, wrap it in bandages. So we did this. We put this ointment on it day and night, wrapped the bandages, but it just spread over her whole body. So it went all down her arm, across her whole back, this big, horrible rash all down her arms, then jumped like to the top of her legs, and it was really sore all where her nappy line was. And it got to the point where she looked like a mummy, like we'd been chasing these scabs around her whole body. And, my husband and I thought, no, this is crazy. We need to take her to the doctor, and we need to get this sorted, whatever it takes. And I felt bad, like trying to do things, naturally. And so we booked an appointment with the doctor, but they didn't have anything till the next day. And that night we looked at each other and we're like, what do we do with this poor baby? And my husband actually said, what about those oils that are sitting in the cupboard? So I was like, well, they can't hurt. They're just plants. So let's try that. And so I, looked it up again, and we used the immune boosting blend, diluted it in a carrier oil so it was safe on her skin, put it all over everything, and then wrapped everything in fresh bandages, as we've been doing every morning and every night. And then the next morning, we went to see what it was like before taking to the doctor, and we pulled off all the bandages, and the whole body was just healed. All the scabs fell away with the bandages. We were just left with this perfect pink skin on the beginning bits. The ones that had come later, like the whole body was just like perfect, like just perfect little pink healed skin underneath, just from overnight. And we were absolutely blown away. It felt like a miracle. And luckily my husband was there in the bathroom with me, so he saw with his own eyes, which is really useful because a lot of husbands are a little bit later to come on board. But yeah, basically we made a decision as a family at that moment that number one, we needed to learn about these oils, get them out of the cupboard. And number two is that we'd actually turn to them as our first port of call for our needs. If we couldn't meet, if they didn't meet our needs, then sure, we'll use whatever, you know, we use the hospital and the doctors and the medical pharmaceutical system. But let's use them as our first port of call. And so since that day we have. And apart from a broken wrist last month and a knee replacement last month, both within 24 hours of each other, apart from that, for the last 9.5 years, we have had 0 pharmaceuticals. So not even a paracetamol, no antibiotics, nothing. We literally have used plasters, heat packs and oils for all our medical needs. So that was really sort of our first introduction to them. And I've become very passionate. You know, I know where to look for the information. I know which oils now are good for what, but also that become, as I've continued on my journey, it unfolds and there's more and more, and like learning about how toxins impact our hormones and impact behavior and impact so much. And so actually learning how to use the oils to create a low tox environment. So low tox home, I make all my own cleaning products. And then low tox body, the average woman puts on her body 6,000 synthetic chemicals on a regular basis. So learning how to make my own body products just with pure basic ingredients and the beautiful oils that add therapeutic qualities and cleaning and the help with hormone balance and all sorts of things and cellular health. So everything we now use is just natural. It's with the oils. So creating this beautiful low tox environment. So I have an online wellness community and we run a program called Ditch and Switch. So it's just teaching people how to really gently, really easily and simply switch from stuff that we're sold as that we need. You know, we need different cleaning products for different things, when actually, you know, lemon, vinegar, bicarb and water and a bit of lemon will clean pretty much anything. So we know we have to unlearn everything that we've been marketed at over the years. So yeah, so that's a little sort of brief introduction to how I got into it and how that's evolved, and then also onto the emotional side, because the oils have a really deep impact on our emotional health as well. Because where they go into the limbic system, which is where we manage that fight, flight and freeze. And so being able to use them in that way to support emotional health has been the last piece of my puzzle, but probably become the biggest part of the puzzle as I've become more open to it. But I wouldn't have been open to that at the beginning. I needed to see something, you know, physical with my eyes at that point in my life. But a lot of people come into it drawn to the emotional side and they're much more open. So it depends where you're at, really.
Gosh. Wow, and wow. That's a lot. And let me just ask you, out of all of the oils that you use, what's your favorite?
Oh, that's like asking which is your favorite child. You can't do that. Like they're sitting there. You can't say anything. They're biologically active. They are the chemistry of the planet. They can hear me. So that is a very difficult question. But I would probably say frankincense is my favorite oil. It's the king. They say if in doubt, pull Frank out. And he really is like the king. He'll manage pretty much anything or amplify any other oil that you put on. So if I was stranded on a desert island, I've had to think about this. It makes me cry to think that I'd go for one oil, but if I did have to take, it would be difficult, but I would probably take frankincense.
I think that sort of ties in actually with so I was told that if you want to kind of parasite cleanse and do all of this, one of the things that you do is you put a couple of drops of frankincense on your crown chakra, and you put a little bit of clove oil on your feet with some socks on before you go to bed, and the oils will kind of have this cleansing. Do you think that that's right?
Well, they're certainly really powerful. They're both very, very powerful oils. We do a gut cleanse. I'm currently on what day is it? The 26th. I'm on day 26 of 30 of my gut cleanse at the moment. And the main sort of parasitic attackers are oregano, thyme, lemongrass, also caprylic acid, which is part of coconut oil. So
Right.
they're what we take internally, and that is a massive stripper, but then you've got to flood it with probiotics. There's a whole protocol for that. But
Okay.
with those two oils, certainly they are very powerful. Frankincense is amazing at cellular regeneration. It's anti-inflammatory. It's very, very powerful and calming to the body. So I actually recommend putting a drop of frankincense on a newborn baby's head. And obviously Jesus had his frankincense and his myrrh essential oil and money. That's all you need, essential oils and money. So that's a beautiful thing to do. And clove is actually the world's most powerful antioxidant. So antioxidants, should I get a bit sciencey here? Have we got time to get a bit sciencey?
Yeah, let's do a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, what do you know what antioxidants are, or why we want them, or what they're in? You got any?
Antioxidants, yeah, in terms of calming down the inflammation in your body, basically.
Yeah, and just and stopping the free radicals. So free radicals are sort of like the naughty cells, the disruptive ones, and they're actually unstable. So we've got like you've got an atom and it's got two electrons swirling it, and if one of those is missing, it's unstable. So what it does is it tries to go and find another one to attach to so that it's stable, but actually it creates a larger, it attaches to it, and then the whole thing is unstable. So then that goes on, and it's just sort of like when you feel unwell and you have maybe a sore throat, but you can still function. And you sort of know it's coming, but that snowball effect is happening in the body, and then it hits that point where you go down. So things that are high in antioxidants actually absorb those. They vacuum or they absorb those odd ones, where they're unstable. They vacuum them up so that whole thing just dies, and then it stops that disruption in its path. So things are measured on something called an ORAC scale, oxygen radical absorption capacity. So literally this ability to absorb the free radicals. So what foods do you know that are high in antioxidants?
I would probably, what would I like to eat? Well, I would look for things that are more sulfur based, probably, to calm down the inflammatory typey stuff. So I guess I would have, let me think, lemons, fish, like nuts.
Yeah, so
kind of things.
Generally it's things that are really vibrant in color, so naturally vibrant in color. So definitely all like the dark leafy green vegetables, berries, that sort of thing. They're really high. Things like beetroot and even red wine and dark chocolate. Funnily enough, great. We can add those to our antioxidant intake. So if you imagine something like blueberries, people often quite think of like as a superfood because they are such high antioxidants. They measure 2,400 on the ORAC scale. Wow. Pomegranates measure even higher at 3,000. So clove is the world's most powerful antioxidant. Have a guess at what it measures on this ORAC scale.
I couldn't guess at all. No.
Well, it's 1,078,500. There's nothing else that comes close. The next highest thing on the planet is myrrh in its essential oil form, which is about 500 something thousand. The clove is literally up here in this power to come and just stop those free radicals in its track, and stop that. So free radicals speed up aging, as well as illness. Any toxins from the environment, from pollution, that sort of thing. It just causes disruption in the body. So we've got something like clove. It's just basically stopping that in its tracks. And essential oils, they're 50 to 70 times more powerful than the herb itself. So when you've got something that's so potent, like you imagine you've got a little clove bud, but to imagine how much oil you would get of compressing that, hardly any. So when you've actually got the essential oil, like a whole drop, there's 40 million trillion molecules in one drop of essential oil. So there's just so much in that. So clove, amazingly powerful. Maybe you could use it as part of a parasite cleanse, but I'd use, we use it more in terms of if someone in the house is not feeling that well. Right. I've got a beautiful blend called On Guard, which has got wild orange, cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary, and clove. And so if I'm not feeling well, I've just put a bit of that down my throat or put it on the soles of my feet, and it's, I've got maybe a tickle of a sore throat, and then the next day it's gone. It sort of stops that cycle if you want to stop it in its tracks. So incredibly powerful oil, also amazing at killing mold spores, also amazing for numbing tooth pain. So really, really brilliant. And absolutely, you could add it to a parasite cleanse, but there's other ones I would add in there that actually attack parasites more. Funnily enough, geranium, which is a flower, has been shown to kill the blastocystis parasite. But yeah, oregano would be a main one. But oregano is a very hot oil. You need to use it with caution. So
okay. Actually, something you said there, because I've got like a little utility room, and through the winter, this is the first winter in this house. Through the winter, it doesn't vent. It's got the boiler out there, and the walls are just wringing wet, and so I've ended up having to tackle mold, and I bought what I thought was some fairly natural, but they're not, products, because I know that when I'm spraying them and I'm in close proximity to it, that I can, I can really feel it if I breathe it in. So maybe, so if I wanted to kill that mold naturally, I would put clove oil in what, just distilled water in a spray?
Yeah, and a bit of vinegar is good there as well. Yeah, so I mean, my cleaning spray, which does everything, is just so say it's a 500ml bottle, sorry, about a fifth vinegar. It's about 100 mils of vinegar. I just put a little bit of detergent in there, a natural one, so I get one from Doterra, but you can boil up soap nuts and make your own detergent as well, and then just fill it up with water, and then just add whatever oils you want in. So you want broad spectrum oils, so that means that they're antibacterial, antiviral, antiseptic, and what's the other one, anti something else. So some oils are all four of those things, some are two, some are the other two. So something like the On Guard blend or lemon is all of those. I think clove is all of those. I need to check my little my little chart. But yeah, so I pretty much use citrus oils because they're very, well, they're cheap, they're very abundant oils, and they're amazing. They're amazing at degreasing, they're amazing at cleaning. They do. Even this morning I was trying to take a sticky label off thing and nothing was working, and just grabbed a drop of orange and I just put it on, it just takes it straight off. So brilliant. And then add in clove. If you've got a moldy area, you just do clove. And I did that on my ceiling in my bathroom in Australia, same, just very humid environment. And you can actually see 2 years later where I'd stood on the toilet and reached up as far as I could to clean the mold, and it just hadn't grown back, because you could literally see as far as my arm could reach, and how the other side just it wasn't kept growing. Just it doesn't just get rid of it or bleach it. I mean, bleach literally just, bleach can kill it, but essentially bleach is there to change the color. It's not there to actually kill off the spores, which is what you want. So yeah, clove, very powerful in that way, definitely, and super simple, super cheap, really easy.
I think there's a whole conversation in this. I think, and I bought the book that you recommended, Modern Essentials, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I'm going to have a really deep dive into as well. But it will be absolutely lovely. Perhaps we could do a chat, in the next couple of weeks or 2 or 3 weeks, and maybe look at how you can change all of these things. I mean, the simplest thing about clearing mold, I didn't know that, and some what you can do with oils. Yeah,
absolutely. It's so much. It's literally everything we do in our home has got oils. There's just oils everywhere because they're part of our health, but they're part of, we put them in our food because these ones are so pure. So I don't buy any herbs or flavorings or anything. I just put a drop of oil in instead. So yeah, there's so much that you can do. And I often will put clove in like a banana bread, or like a drop of that in or some sort of cooking.
I went to
my mulled wine at Christmas. I did drop clove. That of me as well.
I went to a wonderful antique place, and they had this Bakewell tart, and the almond taste was phenomenal. It was the best Bakewell tart I've ever eaten. And I said to her, the lady at the end, I said, "How have you made this Bakewell tart?" And she said, "Oh, secret recipe." I said, "Did you put any oil in it, like an essential oil of?" Because it was so lovely. But she wouldn't tell me. I mean, I was trying my best to get the family secret for the Bakewell out. But it just did. I didn't succeed with it. But I still think that she had created that wonderful dish with an oil, because that's the only way it could have tasted as fabulous as it did. So I think there's a whole discussion, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely.
Oil food. Well, we'll be able to talk about all sorts of things, won't we? So
yeah, so I've got whole recipe booklets just full of recipes using the oils in that way. I've got, you know, just one with raw desserts. So when I'm on the cleanse and I'm trying to eat super clean, no gluten, no dairy, no refined sugar, just an abundance of beautiful desserts, and the oils just make the flavors pop. They really do. Just it gives it, it's just, you know, like we were talking before, like, you know, I'm in partnership with Mother Earth, but she just has so much to offer. Just the flavors and the vibrancy is just yeah, you can't match what she has to offer. So yeah,
and it's knowing where to start. And sometimes even just knowing a couple of things that you change along the way, you know, start slow and then sort of build it up. And I'm a newbie. I'm gonna learn at a rate of not so.
Yeah, you will. We have broken it all down. So in my wellness group, anyone that gets oils through, you know, through our group, we have a lovely online communities, about 1,500 families in there now, and we've got the Ditch and Switch series. So that's what we've created. So it's 4 videos, really broken down. Just, you know, the first one is just introductory, how to use oils in a really simple way every day, and then the second one is about cleaning. So looking at you know, how to read labels of things, you know, just breaking things down for the absolute beginner. And then every video has an ebook attached to it with recipes of, okay, or this is what you can actually do, these are things you can actually make. And then the next one is about emotions and also skincare, and there's an ebook with that. So beautiful emotions blends, and another ebook with all the different skincare products, you know, how you can make your own deodorant or how you can make your own face serum. It's super simple, like hundreds of recipes. But so you pick and take what you're ready for in that moment. I just say, I'm just actually going to look at the emotional health side to start with, and that's the only one I'm going to look at, or I'm just going to take one from each and build it up slowly. And then we've got a childcare one and first aid as well. So it's, you know, covering whichever areas you're interested in. It's broken down really simply. You can download it all on your phone as well, and also send through a starter ebook for anyone. Most people start with a kit of the top 10 oils. That's how I did it. Because with that kit, you can check, you can literally replace your whole first aid kit. You can use it for cooking, cleaning, skincare, gut health. It's amazing. So I've got an ebook I put together of just simple ways to get started with those 10 oils. So even just putting a drop of lemon in your drinking water, because it's so good. It's a good detoxifier. And the simple cleaning spray. How to make a flu bomb, you know, which has got that clove oil in it to, you know, sort your body. So it's all there, nice and simply and easily for anyone looking to get started.
Wow. Because there's going to be so much. I mean, on my wish list then will be, from what you're saying, definitely all the foodie stuff. I'm a terrible cook. Well, no, that's not quite true. I can cook, but you know, I'm quite lazy on my own. So so finding good healthy things would be great. So tick that one definitely. Definitely sorting out products for the moldy utility room. That will be a big tick for me as well. I would be interested in the deodorant, how to do that, because I've been conscious of that over years and moved away from kind of mainstream deodorants. Well, that would be a starting point.
That's a great place to start. I think it's also a really good idea not to get overwhelmed, because there is so much, and I'm still learning, you know. So as I don't know if we were recording before I said this, but you know, as I'm learning, as I'm aging, I'm now learning all about how you can use them towards that perimenopause state, and also for dementia care, because I'm working in that region. So it's like, wow, I've been using the oils for all these years in so many ways, but actually there's this whole other way. And I think if you try and learn everything up front, it's just overwhelming, and it's too much, and it causes more stress, and that's the last thing we want. We want to feel de-stressed. So picking like, okay, this year, by the end of the year, I'm going to have done these 5 things, or by the end of the month, this one thing, and just taking it step by step, so that it's you know, as you get to know it in a non-stressful way.
Well, maybe we can take everyone on the journey with us, or on the journeys you're showing me.
Yeah, that'll be great.
I'll be your sort of tough cut, not customer, but you know, your tough student sort of thing. You can
model student. Let's go with model
a
student.
model student. My dad always said that I was a, what did he call me? An eternal student. He said,
great.
and I was only about 19 at the time, and I was quite incensed at the time, but he's right, because
I think it's a good thing.
Throughout everything, and even now, the excitement of learning things and making changes and all the rest of it doesn't faze me at all. I think it's exciting.
It is exciting. I just love, what I really love is awakening through curiosity rather than pain. So we have a lot of people come to us that, like, my mum's on her deathbed dying of cancer. I've been watching you do these oils for 10 years. What can you give me that's going to save her? And it's like, well, it's really difficult at that point when the body's gone through its whole processes. What I love is people that are just curious. What have these got to offer? Let me learn how to make this and learn how to make this, and just keeping that curiosity rather than waiting for a painful instant, waiting for damage to occur before looking for alternatives. Actually, how can I, it's never going to do any harm to create a low toxin environment. It's never going to be harmful. It's always going to be optimal. Yes, you might not get sick if you live a toxic lifestyle, maybe, but if you live a really healthy, nourishing your body with good foods, nourishing your body with exercise, nourishing your mind, surrounding yourself with beautiful people, how can you not be healthy and just more vibrant life? So I really encourage people to awaken and look and be curious, like you, be an eternal student and just be eager to learn more, before you get hit with something that forces you to wake up.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is the start of a journey. So thanks to everybody for tuning in and listening today. And of course, further down the line, we'll talk a little bit about the higher frequency, because we've already had a little discussion, but I know that we've kind of like probably used all our time up for today. So I'm going to save that for another discussion as well, because that I find utterly fascinating, how high frequency these oils vibrate at. But anyway, let's save some chunks for the next chat. And
let's do that. Oh, thanks so much for having me.
And we'll try and let's catch up again soon.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Thanks so much, Judy, and thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks everyone. Speak soon. Bye.
Bye.